What is up? What is good? Happy post Valentine's Day. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Trash Panda podcast. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my experience in snowboarding, and there's actually some pretty dope learning experiences that happened. And so we're gonna jump into all of that. This is gonna be super quick, probably like 30 minutes unless I get all chatty. Then it might be an hour, but who knows? We'll see. And then you will be on your way. But Neeks the Sneaks, what's up? What's going on? Yo, sorry for my internet. I don't know what happened. I think because of the snow, we were having internet issues. They've been doing like internet and power shutdowns all over Dallas. Just all day. So that's I'm assuming that's what that was. But I will definitely jump on some Warzone later. If you're down, just let me know. So we're just gonna jump right into it. I went snowboarding for the first time ever. I know it's a surprise. I seem like the type of person that snowboards. Yes, I do, and I did, and I didn't die, so that's good. But it was a lot of fun. So obviously it was a little bit nervous being the first time I ever snowboarded, and I had some crazy scenarios back in when I was 12, or actually I was probably 9 or 10 at the time, when I learned how to ski. And they said the pizza's your friend, and you just do the pizza down the mountain and you're good. The pizza did not stop me though. It was a slow roll back into the tree. So that was dope. That was a lot of fun, obviously. So that happened. And so I was kind of traumatized from that point on. But this time would be different. I'm a little bit older. I'm I wouldn't say more athletic, but I have better. I'm a little bit better at a balance and all of that good stuff. Also because like in college, I was riding skateboards and longboards, and we were doing some skimboarding and all of the above. I loved being on a board. It was a lot of fun for me. So that ended up working out. And so going into the day one, I was pretty confident. I felt like I would be able to pick it up pretty quickly. So I did what everybody does when you're learning something for the first time. YouTube. So went on YouTube, how to snowboard, and learned a lot of, good things to keep in mind while on the mountain. But it was time to put it into practice. So we got there, we got everything on. First thing I didn't realize was the elevation was going to screw me over. The elevation aspect of it and catching your breath, just walking up a simple hill, no more than like, a flight of stairs. It took like a minute or two to catch my breath just to get up that hill. There were probably like 3 flights of stairs worth of hill. So, it took me some time to get used to that. And I actually didn't ever get used to the elevation. I felt like I was constantly out of breath whenever I fell down, especially, and tried to get back up. So there's that aspect. None of the videos talked about that. So if you're into snowboarding and you're making YouTube videos on teaching people how to snowboard, cardio might be one way to get prepared for that. So actually preparing for snowboarding, that's a whole other topic. And luckily I had some people that knew what they were doing and knew what to expect. So they kind of told me what to pack and what to bring. Wool socks, specifically for the snow, waterproof everything, waterproof pants, waterproof jacket, waterproof gloves. Thankfully I did that, because if I didn't get waterproof gloves, I would have just had the ones from Uniqlo, and they don't keep you warm in that kind of weather. So, and then just full body heat tech, super important. Uniqlo sells heat tech. It keeps your body warm, and you just run into some pretty extreme temperatures, like we did on this day. We'll get more into that in a little bit, but Preparation was super important, and we'll go more into detail on all that. So now the time's here. I got my lift ticket on my body, on my person. It's on my jacket, and we are going up into the mountain. TJ and Steven, they want to get a couple of real runs in before they train us and whatnot. So they go off on their own, and I go up to the little teaching instruction area, go up to one of the instructors and say, hey, I'm just wondering where the bunny slopes are, and if there's a level below the bunny slopes, I would love to know where that is. The guy clearly saw that I have no idea what I'm doing. So he comes up to me and he goes, have you ever done this before? And I replied, and I was like, I watched some YouTube videos and, whatever. He decided his appointment was late. So he gave us 20 minutes. Gave us 20 minutes of instruction. In that 20 minutes of time, and here's the interesting thing, actually, before I even go into all of that, he didn't really teach us all of it, but the first thing he taught us was how to fall down properly. Now, this is probably the most important lesson of the entire day. None of the YouTube videos, again, covered falling down properly, but he did. And learned not to extend your arms out to brace yourself for impact, and when you fall on your back you kind of tuck and roll so it absorbs the impact, and you preserve your tailbone, your rear end, and you preserve your wrists from breaking. So very, very, very important lesson right off the bat, and that kind of set the tone for the whole day, because over the next 2 days I would fall down a lot. And we're going to go into one in particular further into the story. So learning how to fall down was the first lesson. Then he taught us how to balance a little bit, and we did some practice. So basically, the way a snowboard works is you have your board, and it's like this, and your feet are bound into the board like this. And if you go down the mountain with your left foot that way and you ride down this way, that's regular. If you ride down the opposite direction and go down that way, it's goofy. I believe I'm goofy. I believe I'm regular in that I go down with my left foot leading down the mountain. And so with your foot facing that way, if you lean back, that's heel side. So heel side is basically the heel carving down the mountain. Toe side is the toe, flip it around, carving down the mountain that way. So you can be regular, heel and toe, or you can be goofy, heel and toe. So 4 ways to ride a snowboard. He taught us one. He only gave us 20 minutes, so there wasn't very much time. So he taught us heel side for me on regular, and I picked it up pretty fast. I picked it up pretty quickly. I'm gonna, 1 foot into the board, and he says, do this, and just kind of slide down, and yes. And we did all that. So picked it up within the 3rd try. I had my balance semi-decently. Real quick, Mr. Albie, what's going on? What's good? Tristan, what's up? Yeah, heel side is definitely the easiest to learn. I kept gravitating towards it too. But I also think it's because but I also think it's just because the way the mountain was, the way the slope was going down. I think that's why it was. I think that's why. Oh Jesus, this cooldown needs to chill. I think that's also why I kept gravitating towards heel, but also was just comfortable. So, anyway, so we do that, and then he goes, all right, and then the 3rd lesson he taught us was how to get off the lift. That was rough. Mr. Albie, we're trying to go in a few weeks, and then we're definitely going again at the end of March. So This was literally my first time, and so I want to do it more often. Dude, it was bad. Okay, so my first fall of the day. So he teaches us how to get off the lift. Says stand up straight, do your thing, and he taught us everything. And then he goes, all right, have a good one, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. 20 minutes later. All right, so we're pro now. And he goes, oh, but by the way, when you get up there and you get off the lift, make sure you buckle your other foot in and then come down the mountain. It's just a lot easy. Jay Jeezy, what's up? For real? You're no. You're cute. What you talking about? So first one ever, solo on the chair, because there was only space for one on the bunny slope. Getting closer, just heart starts beating like this, just goes crazy. So I'm like, all right, you gotta straighten out the board, and I completely forget what he told me because just all the pressure. And so he goes, so we get up, and he goes, lean forward, stand up, keep your body straight, and just ride it out. Got it. Okay. Keep your board straight, stand up, board goes flying. I smack my head, the back of my head, onto the ground. Oh my God. And yeah, exactly. There was like 20 people on top of, like, up there. Like, the person in front of me fell down, the person in front of them fell down, and there's just like everybody's there. So I was like, there's just the pressure of everybody is like, oh, is he gonna make it? and then everyone's falling down, so it kind of eased the tension a little bit. But yeah, it hit the back of my head. No, I actually didn't get any bruises, so the helmet actually saved my life, because I would fall on my head 3 times this day. That was the first one, and that one hurt like hell. So got up, skated my way over to kind of the down, and realized to get down this hill, I will need to do, essentially I will need to go toe side to get around the first turn, or I'm in the trees. And luckily, it's apparently powdery over there. So anyway, it takes me 45 minutes to get down the bunny slope. I fell down so often, but heel side was working for me. That was my thing. So but I couldn't go heel side like goofy. So I couldn't go, I couldn't go this way. I can only go this way. And so it was just a lot of figuring things out. Anyway, we're going to fast forward because there's a lot of falling down and getting up and trying to stand, and I'm not flexible enough to like stand and push myself up like that. And so there's a lot of like board flipping, and it's a complete mess. The good thing on day one is every time I fell down, it didn't actually hurt as much as I thought it would. Like, it wasn't fresh powder, so it wasn't like the softest, but every time I fell down, it would just like knock the wind out of me a little bit. I fell down hard on my head off the lift, so I knew my helmet was rock solid. Like, that thing would protect me. So I'm like, all right, as long as I'm not blazing down the mountain, I should be fine. So that was day one. Mostly just me consistently falling down, figuring out how to slide, how to stop, how to brake, how to turn, how to do all that stuff. And then lunch came. This is the best part. We waited 1 hour to order lunch, and then 45 minutes for said lunch to arrive. So we wasted 2 hours just waiting for food. And by the time the food got there, it was we ordered simple. We were like, we're just starving right now. So we got burgers and curly fries. And as the food was coming to us, it started snowing, like wind and snow. And so we are all freezing. It is so cold. But we learned from this moment. And so for the next day, what we planned to do was slow cook some just bomb chili for the next day. And our friend's truck has an outlet. And so what we did was we saran wrapped and then foiled and then towels, just a huge slow cooker of chili. And then we had that for lunch the next day. No, so this trip, we actually went up to Colorado. So it was about a 12-hour drive from home, well, from Dallas. And then we went to New Mexico and then up to Colorado. And we stayed in a little town called Pagosa Springs, known for their hot springs and whatnot. And then we went to Wolf Creek. Wolf Creek is about 20 minutes away. And the drive up to Wolf Creek was absolutely beautiful. You're just scaling this mountain, like, and you get to this huge U-turn, horseshoe turn, and it just looks into the valley of Pagosa Springs, and it's just incredibly gorgeous. And they shut down all of the scenic, like, turn-offs, and so we were just kind of bummed about that. But anyway, so that was a lot of day one. And by the end, so we got there around 8:30 and we left around 2:30, and I was completely exhausted. I couldn't handle it. Like, it was just constantly pushing myself up and trying to get up on a mountain at elevation, wearing clothes that are slightly too tight for me, and not being on my bike for the last 6 months since we moved here. My cardio was not ready. Good news was I didn't injure myself terribly. The next morning we woke up and my legs were sore in all of the places. My back was kind of sore. My ass was sore because I fell down on it so much, but my head didn't hurt, which was really great. And I felt okay. I was like, all right, bring on day 2. So we get to day 2 and, the goal or the plan was I was going to do the bunny slopes in the morning and then hit the mountains with my cousin and our friend for the afternoon. And my cousin looks at me and he goes, "Bruh, I think you're ready." And I was like, no. And he was like, "No, dude, trust me, we'll do the easy one." So I was like, all right, you know what? Whatever, dude, let's just do it. Let's go. So we go up, crazy fall number 2, again, off the lift. Coming off the lift, same exact thing. I was on my heels coming down the lift hill, and board slipped out from underneath me, smacked the back of my head again. This time I hit it a lot harder, and it took me a second to get up, and I was just like, imagine like one foot attached to the board, and I'm just like trying to crawl out of the way, like grabbing my head. Super embarrassing. I don't even know if anyone else fell coming off. All I remember is just, oh God. Anyway, so that hurt like hell. Then we get to the hill and it's the same exact thing. Like, the most comfortable thing to come down this first huge turn. And it felt like a big turn. It probably wasn't. But the difference is this time it was probably only 20 feet wide. And on the left side is straight cliff, like just cliff and trees and all that. So I was already freaking out. I was like, oh no, I don't know how to go down hillside. Oh my God. So my cousin took me on did a couple lessons at the top. Took us almost 20 minutes just to get out of that first turn. And he was like, just lean forward on your front leg and just tippy-toed the whole way. And he goes, and you got to just pretend you're making love to that mountain. You just gotta like, you know what I'm talking about, Mr. Albie? You just gotta like keep rocking it. Like you gotta be on the edge the whole time. Don't go flat, because then you'll just like pick up speed. So he was like, so I was doing that, and eventually I figured out the whole toe side situation, but I wasn't comfortable because I didn't know how to brake. And so the whole day we were just practicing, both, toe side and heel side and braking on both different directions. But the way my check-in works is I got a check-in and a savings. No, I'm just kidding. But the way the mountain, like the way the hill was like naturally going, I kept going goofy, and I know I'm not goofy because I'm not comfortable. And my board was actually set up to be regular. So I ended up riding most of the second day goofy. And it just, because of the way the hill was pulling me, Anyway, I learned a bunch of other stuff along the way, and at the end of the day, my cousin was telling me I did a pretty freaking decent job for it being my first time, which is great and awesome. Afternoon hits. Getting real comfortable. I only fell down 3 times on this time off the lift again, but only fell down 3 times on this run down this hill. Second time, I just kind of lost my footing, fell down, rolled. It didn't hurt at all. But the last one, I was coming down and, I was just following, okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about intentionality in a second, but I was just following whatever my board wanted to do. I just kind of followed it. So if my board started scooting this way, I would just go toe side and brake and then come back. And then if it started going heel side, I would just brake and then come back. And I was just doing that, which is a huge problem because when we're talking about intentionality, which is the topic we're going to get to, if you're just doing what the board tells you to do, then you have no control. You're just it's a controlled fall. So what ended up happening was I got really comfortable. I was coming around on pushing toe side, braked, came back across, and then before I was ready to transition back to heel side, I pushed it. I pushed my foot forward and almost caught myself, except the hill went like this and hit that part, front side, caught the snow, and I went flying over my board. I hit my head so hard that the lenses popped off my goggles. My goggles came off my face, and they actually they came off my helmet. Luckily, it has like a little strap back here. But I hit my head so hard that happened. And then after I hit my head, the rest of my body dropped, and I fell like this. And I hit here, and I just remember feeling all of my ribs just like moving. Like I was very aware of my ribs just crushing into my lungs. And it was a scary, scary moment. Like it was the hardest fall I ever had, like so far up to this point. But it was also the most confident I was in snowboarding. But I let a minute pass, couldn't catch my breath. I let 2 minutes pass, I couldn't catch my breath. There was a sharp pain right here, and 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 15 minutes go by. And I finally get the courage I finally get the strength to put my left arm down to help push myself up. And I have zero strength to get myself up. And so I keep trying, and I started freaking crying, dude. Like I legit started crying, and I was hella scared. And all I hear in the background is my cousin just like, Mark, get the fuck up. Like, you're not fucking hurt. Come on, bro. Like, you got this. Dude, you'd be screaming in pain if you broke something. Don't worry, you're fine. It's just like, you just lost your breath. You hit really hard, blah, blah, blah. But you're good. He's constantly saying this for like 20 minutes. And so, I wiped my face, and like I put my mask back on, because after I hit, I took everything off, because I couldn't breathe. So I put everything back on. I figured out how to push myself up, started sliding backwards, and I did like a 180, and I rode all the way down. Like that was probably about 25% down the mountain at that point. And I made it all the way down, and I did, what I knew how to do, and made it all the way down. So, what were the lessons I learned in snowboarding that's going to come back and relate to success and intentionality? The biggest thing that stuck out to me was with intentionality is where you look is where you're going to go. It never failed. After that fall, we rode like a couple more times, and every time I stared at a patch of snow, my body just went there. And it was just like, look where you're going, point your shoulder that way, and your body will follow. And so I started doing that. And when I started getting intentional about where I was going, that's when it actually got a lot easier. Knowing what to do on your way there, that was the first day and a half. But once I was like, okay, I'm going that way. Whatever happens, I'm going that way. And if it required me to go toe side, heel side, goofy, braking, whatever I needed to do to get there, it eventually became second nature. And I ended up there, period, regardless, as long as I wasn't like in the right stance and whatever. And so I got comfortable enough in most situations in the 4 ways to like ride your board that I could kind of do. I got really comfortable regular, not comfortable goofy, and whether it was toe or heel, I got comfortable enough to be able to come down that mountain. And if I picked up speed, I knew how to brake and I knew how to stop and whatever. And so I needed to continue practicing to be comfortable in whatever situation I ended up in. And if I wasn't, then I needed to know how to go back to being comfortable. And so, a week later, my neck is sore still on both sides. I think I have like a pinched nerve on both sides of my neck, so I can't like really turn my head. My chest is still sore right here. My arms feel good. My legs feel good. Everything else feels fine. But there was a moment there where I really thought, like, I'm not going to make this. And so, anyway, when it comes to intentionality, I learned that if you want to go somewhere, you just have to look at that direction. And so when it comes to like goals and accomplishing what you want to accomplish in life, that's a huge lesson too. Because like a lot of us, we see all these people on Instagram and we're so fixated on, oh my God, like this 21-year-old kid made millions off of GameStop, right? Like we see all this stuff and then we instantly become envious of like those that are doing what we want to do, but they're doing it better. And oh yeah, by the way, they're younger. And oh, by the way, they're living the lifestyle that we hope for. And it's exhausting comparing yourself to other people. And the thing I noticed is when it comes to goal setting, at least for me, a lot of times I'll say, okay, I want to accomplish this, and then I'll look down, metaphorically. I'll look down and just get in the mud and do everything I need to do to continue moving that direction. But I don't ask myself the question of, are all these little actions I'm focusing on down here actually going to help me get there? Right? Like, I'd like to think so, but intentionality and looking exactly where you want to go and taking a goal and just setting your eyes towards it and just laser focused on that alone. Like that's one of the takeaways I got from snowboarding. Kind of crazy. And so you need to tell yourself what you're going to do, what you hope to accomplish, and then just go and fucking do it, dude. Like, just go and know and understand. And I knew this going into snowboarding. I knew that I was going to fall down. I knew that I was probably going to hurt myself pretty hard. I was hoping that I wasn't going to break anything. All 3 of those things were accomplished, by the way. And so you will fall down like I did. You're going to hit your head and it's going to hurt. And it's going to hurt sometimes that you can't even get up. Sometimes you don't even know if you'll be able to get up. Just do it anyway. Sometimes you'll hit the ground so hard, you'll feel your insides move. Sometimes you'll hit the ground so hard, you won't be able to catch your breath. Sometimes you'll hit the ground so hard, you'll freaking cry on top of a mountain like I did. And for me, it was because I kept getting knocked down the more confident I grew. And I kept falling. And I got knocked down and you keep wasting energy on getting back up. And you're struggling because you can't catch your breath. But that's okay. It's okay. Take whatever time you need to get your head right, get your breath right, then pick yourself up and just fucking go. I promise. Success is on the way. You just have to keep going. And so to whoever is watching this, and whatever you're doing, whether you're streaming or you're gaming or you want to be a professional gamer, or you're trying to get this job or you're trying to get this promotion, or whatever you're doing, in work, you're in your relationships, and whatever you're doing, just focus on what you want to accomplish. Focus on it, look at it, stare it right in the fucking face, and just go after it. Go and get it. Success is going to come. It has to. If you keep working at it, it's going to come. You might fall down more than some people, and some people might get there faster than you. But at the end of the day, isn't the goal just to fucking get there? That's the goal, right? I don't who cares if some 21-year-old kid beats me to my dream? That's not going to stop me from going after my dream. That's my dream. I want to get there too. So it's hard not to compare ourselves when we're constantly on Instagram and Twitter and Twitch and Facebook and all of these places looking at other people doing what we want to do, when we have a completely different set of circumstances. Maybe they got lucky. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they got really lucky. Maybe they work night and day. Maybe they look at Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I posted this on my Instagram the other day. Actually the day after, and Patrick Mahomes made some of the craziest throws on the way to the ground. He was running for his life the entire game. They tracked him and said he ran almost 500 yards to get away from pressure. That's 5 football fields, the whole game, just to get a good throwing lane. Now imagine there was one sequence. There was one sequence. It was 3 plays in a row. He was spinning around trying to get away, and he was getting tackled out of bounds. But before he got out of bounds, he turned, saw his receiver, and threw the ball. He hit that receiver in his hands in the end zone, and the receiver dropped the ball. Do you know how frustrating that must be to be Patrick Mahomes? You just ran 50 yards to get away from people. They finally catch up to you. You're about to go down, but before you do, you throw the ball, and your receiver, who's paid millions of dollars to catch that ball, drops it. Oh, and then by the way, the very next play, he does the same thing. Running circles, dodging. He gets tripped and becomes parallel to the ground. He chucks the ball 40 yards into the end zone. Again, receiver in the hands, and drops it. Dude, Patrick Mahomes showed up to play that game, and his receivers simply did not. And that's got to be so frustrating for him, because he did everything he can. Yeah, Mr. Albie, some of those throws were so crazy. Oh my God. Yeah, he did look like a shortstop with that throw. It's insane. And I completely forgot why I started talking about that. But oh no, I remember. Patrick Mahomes clearly wanted to win that game. Clearly. He did everything he could, but his team wasn't there. And so I posted on my Instagram, if you don't want, whatever your dream is, whatever you're trying to accomplish in your life, whatever you're going after, if you don't want it, like Mahomes wants to win that Super Bowl, then I would argue you don't want it enough. And that's okay too. It's okay to be lukewarm on a passion. It's okay to be lukewarm on a dream that you're trying to achieve. Just know and understand that it's going to take a little bit longer, because something's going to come along that's going to be more important, and it's going to, quote unquote, for lack of a better word, get in the way. And that's okay. But just understand, unless you go 10,000 hours of mastering a skill or a task or a profession or whatever, unless you go to that masterful level, you're not going to be a master. You're not going to be professional. So the longer you take to complete those 10,000 hours, the longer it's going to take for you to achieve that dream. And so as long as you understand that, then it doesn't matter how long it takes. 10,000 hours rule. Exactly. It's one of my favorite rules. And I used to fault myself for a lot of different things, for not being great at this and that and whatever. And, then just used to get upset when other people would be able to do what I wish I could do. And then turns out that, then they come along and they're doing it and they're doing everything, whatever. And I used to get frustrated. And then I realized, dude, I don't know how much work they put in. Dude, maybe they're constantly grinding for whatever this is. And I'm over here like just wishing and hoping and kind of doing it here, kind of doing it there and whatever. If I'm not putting in the work, quite frankly, I don't really freaking deserve it, right? So, so Patrick Mahomes clearly wanted that Super Bowl, and the rest of his team didn't. I don't think they wanted it as much. I think they were, complacent with winning last year against my Niners. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Anyway, that's my rant. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed. I got some crazy, some other crazy things that happened along the way while we were snowboarding. But those are the main takeaways, So whatever you got going on today, whatever you got going on for the rest of the week, I wish you the best. I hope everything goes well. I wish you nothing but success. I wish you nothing but the best. Bars. I'm just kidding. But want to also thank you guys for hanging out. Mr. Albie for being here and chatting and just, whatever. Tristan for stopping by. JGZ for stopping by. And whoever's quiet in the chat, just kind of lurking there. Not wanting to reveal yourselves. It's all good. Neeks to Sneaks, thank you so much for stopping by also. I'm probably going to jump on some games later on tonight. But in the meantime, the wifey made some Cine Gang. We're about to get it. So thanks for stopping by. We're going to talk a little bit probably next week again. I want to make this podcast a weekly thing. And hopefully hopefully some people find some value in it. I don't know. I might like the sound of my voice, but you know what? Whatever, dude. I would be doing this if I didn't like the sound of my voice. Whatever. But anyway, thank you guys all for stopping by. Thank you guys for being here. Trash Panda out.